Yeah, so Ready or Not is the sort of the belle of the ball right now.
Oh
Um,
yeah. Oh yeah.
everybody's kind of talking about it,
As
and
they should.
I I I I think it looks good. It looks intense. It looks fun, and it
It's all those things. All of them.
and I've watched One Night of You, and I watched one long video of, I want to say it was One Peg, or I can't remember who it was. It was somebody else. It was one of the bigger YouTube people. Um,
Mm.
no, Level Cap. I think it was Level Cap. He
Okay.
was he was running a run, um, and just to see all of the, just like every door is a potential pain in the ass, complex problem that you now have to solve, or they're gonna shoot you through the goddamn door, and that was something that I was not expecting to see
Oh yeah.
from a game like that. Stevie, tell us a little bit more about Ready or Not.
So Ready or Not uh takes place in some dystopian side of things as far as like the world goes where crime is like Judge Dredd levels of just bad. It's just running rampant everywhere, and it primarily takes place in like the city of Los Angeles. I believe they call it Los Sueños in the game, and you are playing as members of a SWAT team, and there are different maps you go to, and there are different scenarios for each one. So each map, it kind of plays like Zero Hour, if those of you that have played Zero Hour are familiar with it, where you have to unlock certain, you have to get graded a certain way to do like another set of objectives on the same map. So right out of the gate, your immediate objectives for each map is called Barricaded Suspect, and it is exactly as it sounds. There's a bad guy locked in a, or bad guys, excuse me, locked in a house somewhere. You have to go in there, breach in there with shields, gas, flashbangs, whichever, clear it out, arrest suspects, kill the ones that are trying to kill you, secure civilians. Some of them you have to like secure drugs or other paraphernalia, things like that, and try not to die. There's all kinds of other stipulations as well. You have to make sure that you don't shoot somebody that's surrendering. You got to make sure you arrest a certain number of suspects. Like there's a lot that goes into it, but it's not overwhelming, which is cool. Like there's already a lot going on in the game, which is awesome, but they don't add a bunch of like nonsensical bullshit on top of it, which is cool. So even though it's not your standard first person shooter where you just like run in and spray everything that's just looking at you funny, the objectives that they have alongside of it actually do make it very enjoyable, and they don't wash it down, which is really nice. Because there are some games, like Zero Hour is one of those games. Like I love Zero Hour. I don't have a whole lot of bad to say about it, but if it was a little more simplistic in the way that its approach was, as far as if you turn a corner and there's a dude looking at you with a gun and you shoot him, you're immediately in trouble. Like that kind of sucks. It's just there's like I said, there's a lot in there, but it's not a lot. Like it's a very, I'm trying to find the best way to put it.
It's
It's
just
like
enough to keep you on
if
your
you
toes.
yeah, like if you have extra fries with your meal, that's not a bad thing. Nobody complains about extra French fries. Those are always good. There's, you get your whole meal, but then you got some extra French fries, so everybody's happy because that's the best way I use the food thing. Can you tell I'm hungry? That I
Yeah.
use the food analogy 'cause, I'm hungry. But it's nice. It's the way that it paces well. And actually, let me rephrase that. You can kind of play at your own pace. You can play super slow, super tactical, methodical, if you want to, or you can just smash every door and flashbang the shit out of every door that you want to. I mean, it's one of those games where you kind of have the creative freedom to play it how you see fit, which is really nice. Um, and it's cool that more games are starting to do that, and I really appreciate that they're giving you the option to do that, which is cool. The guns are cool. It kind of feels like what we're one of the games we're talking about tonight. It kind of feels like a lot of people are looking at how Escape from Tarkov does, like their guns and their modding and their handling and how it goes, and it seems like they're kind of using that as the aiming point. Because the guns feel great. They feel pretty close to what Tarkov is. which is nice. Which is kind of one of the big games out there right now that everybody is enjoying and kind of jumping into, which is cool. The AI, a lot of people are complaining about the AI, but I think that people that are used to the sandbox shooters, your Call of Duty players, your Apex players, people that are used to 100 miles an hour trick shots, stuff like that. I don't think they're used to AI that's actually fairly legitimate to how they're going to like if you have a hostage situation and you bash a door in and there's some bad guy cranked out on drugs standing there with a gun, he's not going to do four lines of dialogue and then slowly aim at you. He's just going to shoot you immediately. Like that's just what's going to happen because that's what goes on. And that's how the AI is coded in this and it does keep you on your toes. It's very different. For the people that like the tactical style gameplay, the slow methodical, by the books, room clearing, small team tactics type gameplay, this is right in that wheelhouse right there. I've watched a number of gamers play it and love it. I've watched a number of guys that play games that have, prior experience, whether it be military or, police work or tactical work that play this and they're like, this is incredible. Like this is right what, this should be as far like they're hitting the mark of what they're trying to do. Like they made a game, it's supposed to be a tactical, slow paced, not a shooter. It's a thinker first, then a shooter type game. And it seems like they took their time and they made it exactly what they wanted to. Like they hit the nail right on the head with what they wanted to do. And a lot of game developers, within the last couple of years, it's like, hey, this is the game we're gonna do, and then that game comes out and everybody goes, that wasn't that no, no, that's not what you described. That's not the case with this. This one has definitely hit exactly where they said they were gonna hit with it, and everything that was in the alpha stages, everything that was in the closed beta stages, everybody knew exactly what this game was going to be. And it just seems that now that it's in the closed beta phase where you got to pay to play it, it seems like everybody is been enjoying it. I don't really think I've heard too much negative about it. I think the only negative thing that I've heard about it so far is that people wish there was more maps,
Right.
and that's a good problem to have is that people are like, I just wish there was more.
Yeah, and
People wanting more is a good problem.
it seems like that is what Chad is actually talking about right now. So Big Voice saying that $40 seems like it's a bit much, but 30 would be a much more fair price for what they're actually offering right now.
Yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
I totally understand that sentiment, but we're also talking about a developer that's in closed beta. That this game is still in development, being created. So we're talking about people jumping in to support. This is basically like kickstarting the game.
They
Um,
also did.
while while
Also
still being
did
able to
lose a
fucking
publishing
play it,
fee.
which is incredible. I love that people are doing this for games now in order to like build an audience and also build a little bit of hype, but also get money so that they can actually make the games better. That's huge. Um, I think $40 for a game of this caliber, of this polish,
Mhm.
at least graphically, is awesome, and like gameplay wise, it's incredible. The polish on the voice lines, however, I'm not totally sold on. I so that's like the one
There
big sticking point for
is a
me is like,
little work.
oh, okay, that's weird. Like when you're capturing a civilian and she's talking about your cool tattoos, and you're like,
Yeah,
What are you What are you doing? I don't. All right, game.
they
You're
those
in
could be a little.
beta. You're okay, but that better not be in the full released final
Yeah,
game.
you guys better have this polished. There better not be the same six fucking lines for every
Yeah,
scumbag you rep in
it's
this
it's
game.
not
This better be switched
it's
around.
not my favorite. That's not my favorite.
Yeah, that could be a little different. I'm with you on that one.
Yeah, and this could end up being a $50 to $60 video game, and you guys that have purchased it at $40 will still be good to go. I don't know that they would do something like that. They are trying to entice purchases right now, but it doesn't make sense to then jump the price. It's like Tarkov saying that you were going to charge you $60 and then everybody has to buy the Edge of Darkness version. Like
Right.
that's not really. I don't foresee that happening to anybody.
No.
And this is who's the publisher on this one? Are they
Void
bigger?
Interactive.
and they're
Oh, no,
bigger,
Void, hold on.
smaller. They're
Void's done some stuff before. Hold on, let me verify. Void is definitely game. The oh no, it is. It's a Team 17. So the publishers are Void Interactive and Team 17
hmm,
is what it is.
okay.
Team 17. It looks like the big ones they've done are Hell Let Loose,
Okay, so they
Overcooked
have some.
2, moving out. But Void Interactive, they let's see here. Void Interactive comes up. Looks like they've done Chrono Boost, Perilous Dungeon, Ready or Not. So it looks like they've done some smaller games. Um, but yeah, this is their big one. So
This is
that does kind of change it for me. Then hearing that they don't have a bunch of other games under their belt. There, they have this is it. Like this is what they're doing. This is their big
this is their
their big
breakout.
pie here, as you will. Yeah.
Yeah, this is their breakout piece, and we're
So I
probably
would
gonna
say
see
I would
something
say
really good from them moving
I
forward
would say
because of
four.
that.
You know what? $40 for that, I would say, is probably right where it could be. Because you know what? I'll say this: $40 for something that has the detail that has the attention to detail too, as far as like the sounds in this game are. I would have to say these are probably top, maybe some of the best sounds in game that I've heard in a video game. Like when you throw a grenade inside and you could hear like it go off, but then you could hear like the displacement of just like sound and air like throughout. Like they definitely did the research on, okay, let's just not have it go like, what does it actually sound like? What does it actually do? The sounds of the weapons firing, like, because you tell a major difference when you're firing your gun outside, when you're firing your gun in a tunnel, like a cave tunnel that you see, and then when you're firing it inside of a house with like wood and drywall. So they definitely put a lot of detail into this that they didn't have to for a game that's in closed beta right now. Like they didn't have to make it sound as well as they've been making it sound, and they didn't have to put any of that in there. And the fact that this is their, as Aaron said, their breakout, like this is pretty good. Like this is really, really good.
Pretty good, as in getting everyone's attention throughout the Twitch sphere.
Twitch, YouTube,
E-
TikTok, Instagram,
everybody's
it's
everybody's
everywhere.
scrambling to get this game and like come up with new stuff to do with it and have
Hmm.
fun.
Yep.
Yeah, and this is this is a tactical shooter in what we've come to expect from tactical shooters from since basically the dawn of the PC in massive big games like this. Um, we're talking back to original Rainbow Six and Ghost Recon. This is in that vein, and that is important because those are good games. Those original old school games were incredible games, and it's nice to see developers going back to that hardcore if you fail you are done kind of gaming where it's like you can scramble on and hope that you get through it, but if your guys die, they are done. You're not going to get a lot of buys on this. Um, I I'm excited for these types of games to make a bigger comeback, especially in this like big somebody just got eaten up in that clip. uh, so like these are important games because I think it brings gaming on the PC back to its roots in a lot of ways, while still also giving like the most immersive experience that it possibly can. Because it's not jump scares, it's just incredible um, gameplay. Like that you're just getting like this emergent gameplay from these games that is like the core of what PC gaming can be, and I think that these are really important, and I think it's really fun to see a game get so much quick attention for being in a closed beta like this, and I'm excited to see where this one goes. It sounds like everybody that's played it has liked it, and everybody that played it is really excited to get back into uh, more of it. So I will probably be picking this one up in the near future and giving it a go. So um, yeah, Stevie, I don't know if you have anything else for this one because like the chat's saying, it seems like this is just the one to pick up right now if you're into tactical
Yeah,
shooters. If you're
and
into
it
shooters in general, this is going to give you the challenge that you're looking for right now.
oh well, 100%, and it does have a single player. You can't play it by yourself with AI guys as well.
Yeah.
Which is cool. So it's not one of those where you're locked in either playing it, either by yourself or with a group. You can play, or when I say by yourself, like solo. You can't have AI guys with you as well. And it's cool. It's definitely one of those things where you know we could talk about it. We could talk about it all day. I would definitely just say that you just I'll just kind of go off what you said. If you
Monster
have
Energy drink ad in
oh
the middle of our.
if you like first person shooters, if you enjoy having a first person shooter that's going to challenge you a little bit, and yeah, I would say 100% go grab this. $40, might be steep for some people, but it's going to support, a small developer. I say small, they have got money and stuff, but everything that you give to them goes into making this better, and it goes into supporting them and helping them continue to do something that's awesome. And this is I just in one word, it's just been awesome. It's the tactics are cool, the guns are cool, the aesthetics are cool, the lighting is amazing. I keep coming back to the sound for a reason. Like there was a moment Kurt and I were playing the other night, and I was standing in a hallway and I zapped somebody and I fired off a quick little double tap, and then when the person dropped and it got quiet, I could hear my brass bouncing around the hallway and rolling. And then I shot
That's great.
again. I shot around again. He's like, What is it? What is it?" And I'm just shooting to listen. He's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Dude, are you hearing that?" He's like, "What?" I was like, "My brass is rolling around right now." He's like, "What?" And I did it again. He's like, "Oh shit." He's like, "I thought you were shooting somebody." All right. And then he's like, immediately he was like back on mission. But that was like such a cool detail. It's like little details like that. Again, it's like things they didn't have to do, which is cool.
Yeah.
There's a couple of things they have to work out. We just saw right there in that clip the mechanics of the door. F is your interaction key. Actually, I take that back. That's my own fault right there because F is your interaction key. That's how you interact with doors and do things. But the game does have like full freedom and ability for you to map keys however you want. It gives you the ability to, you can key out any sort of combination of buttons or certain things to certain keys or whichever. Um, I completely forgot about that. That you can do that. Like I was going to complain and say they should change the way that the door interactions are, which they should do that as well to an extent. There's ability you can open the door completely. You could peek the door. You'd have to look at the door handle to peek it, and then you look at the middle of the door to just completely swing it open. But as we mentioned earlier, if you stand directly in front of these doors in the game, they're going to shoot you through the door. They're just going to blast you through the door. So it's not smart to, I mean, even when you're, breaching doors and you're taught to breach, don't stand directly in front of it longer than you have to. Be a little off to the side. It's better to be off to the side than just, okay, here I am.
Yeah.
So, when you're off to the side of the door, you want to peek it and do something. If your cursor's a little too far to the right or a little too far to the left, you might just swing that whole door open and take away the element of surprise to just peek it a little bit. So that part they should probably tweak around a little bit, but you know, technically or not technically, but what's the word I'm looking for? Well, no, I guess it is technically the technical side of the game. It's great, full creative ability to play how you want, map out the keys how you want. It's an experience, which is cool. And I say experience because I've spent the last 2 nights playing it for at least. I think I played it for 6 hours straight the other night, and last night I played it with Jimmy and one of his boys for like 5 hours straight, and it was awesome. It kind of had that same drive that like Tarkov has, where it's like just one more. Let's
Yeah.
just do one more. Let's just get another one. Like it had that, which is cool. So that was outside of the raid type games that make you want to do that. That was cool for to have another game do that. So
Yeah, that's
what do
awesome.
you got?
Yeah, and you don't get that much from a lot of single player games. I don't
No,
think.
no, no, no.
I haven't had that in a hot minute with any. I don't think any single player first person shooter. At least since Ghost Recon, the original. I think that was honestly like the last time I've had that moment where I'm like, I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna finish this mission, or I'm gonna get the next one. Um, yeah, so that one, I think you heard it here. I think this is one to watch, and I think it's one that people should at least consider picking up and probably squadding up with people and giving it a go because it looks incredible.